Good afternoon. It's 2 p.m. and I would like to call the December 14th, 2020 virtual meeting of the West Bloomfield High School HOSA chapter to order. Will the secretary call roll?
Ms. Natarajan,
Present.
Ms. Ghosh,
Present.
Ms. Hussein.
Present.
Being that there's a quorum, may we please have the reading of the minutes of the last meeting?
The regular monthly meeting of the West Bloomfield High School HOSA chapter was held virtually on Monday, November 16th, 2020. The meeting convened at 2 p.m. At the meeting, the minutes of the prior meeting held on October 19th, 2020 were read and approved as corrected. The treasurer reported a balance of $3,000 in the HOSA account, which includes a small amount carried over from the prior year. Ms. Natarajan, reporting on behalf of the Community Service Committee, introduced the Gift of Life Michigan HOSA Challenge. The secretary then introduced our guest speakers, Shalonda T. Griffin and Kenton Kurth, who discussed the importance of organ donation and the need for organ donor registration. Ms. Natarajan then moved that the West Bloomfield High School HOSA chapter help to register individuals for the Gift of Life Michigan HOSA Challenge, and that the chapter organize teams to maximize the number of individuals that can be registered as organ donors. The motion was approved by a majority vote. The meeting adjourned at 3:01 p.m., with the next regular meeting scheduled to be held on Monday, December 14th at 2 p.m. virtually.
Thank you. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If there are no corrections, the minutes stand approved. We'll now move to the officer's report. Will the treasurer, Ms. Goss, please read her report?
Our balance on hand as of the date of the last meeting was $3,000. This month, we've collected money for the HOSA regional competition.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the treasurer's report? Hearing none, the report is filed for audit as read. Being that there is no unfinished business at the previous meeting, this meeting is now open for new business.
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Natarajan.
I move that we purchase new textbooks as mentioned in the HOSA event guidelines for the West Bloomfield High School HOSA chapter to ensure that we have the resources necessary to excel in HOSA competitions.
Second.
Madam President, I object in the consideration of the question.
The consideration of the question has been objected to. Shall the motion to purchase new textbooks as mentioned in the HOSA event guidelines for the West Bloomfield High School HOSA chapter to ensure that we have the resources necessary to excel in HOSA competitions be considered? Those opposed to the considering motion say nay.
Nay.
Those in favor of the consideration of the motion say aye.
Aye.
There are fewer than 2/3 opposed to the considering of the motion, and the objection is not sustained. It is moved and seconded that we purchase new textbooks as mentioned in the HOSA event guidelines for the West Bloomfield High School HOSA chapter to ensure that we have the resources necessary to excel in HOSA competitions. Is there any discussion?
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Natarajan.
I speak in favor of the motion. I believe that purchasing new textbooks will provide the necessary means for our HOSA chapter members to do exceptionally well at the regional, state, and national competitions.
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Sandberg.
I move that when this meeting adjourns, it adjourns to meet next Friday, December 25th at 6 p.m. virtually.
Second.
It is moved and seconded that when this meeting adjourns, it will adjourn to meet next Friday, December 25th at 6 p.m. virtually. The question on the adoption of the motion is to meet next Friday, December 25th at 6 p.m. virtually after this meeting adjourns. All those in favor of this say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
The nays have it, and the motion to fix the time to adjourn is lost, and we have not a set time for a continuation of this meeting. The motion before you is the purchase of new textbooks as mentioned in the HOSA event guidelines for the West Bloomfield High School HOSA chapter to ensure that we have the resources necessary to excel in HOSA competitions.
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Hussein.
I speak against the motion. The purchase is too costly for our group. Also, the motion does not specify how the books will be used by the students during the visual learning experience due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We should not purchase the books due to the impracticality of using them virtually and to ensure that the safety of the West Bloomfield High School students.
Madam President, request for information.
The member will state her question.
Do we have the funds needed to purchase these resources?
We have $1,220 in the HOSA account available to be allocated towards purchasing these resources.
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Gosh.
I move to amend the motion to purchase new textbooks as mentioned in the HOSA event guidelines for the West Bloomfield High School HOSA chapter by striking the word textbooks and by inserting the word ebooks in its place.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to amend the motion to purchase new textbooks as mentioned in the HOSA event guidelines for the West Bloomfield High School HOSA chapter to ensure that we have the resources necessary to excel in HOSA competitions by striking the word textbooks and by inserting ebooks in its place. Is there any discussion?
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Ghosh.
I speak in favor of this motion to amend. With these online books, students will have better access to resources needed to further their education and increase their skills for the HOSA competition.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, the question is on the amendment of the main motion to purchase new textbooks as mentioned in the HOSA event guidelines for the West Bloomfield High School HOSA chapter to ensure that we have the resources necessary to excel in HOSA competitions by striking the word textbooks and by inserting ebooks in its place. All those in favor of this amendment say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion to amend the main motion by striking the word textbooks and by inserting ebooks in its place is agreed to.
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Ghosh.
I move to postpone indefinitely the motion that we purchase new ebooks as mentioned in the HOSA event guidelines for the West Bloomfield High School HOSA chapter.
Second.
It is moved and seconded to postpone indefinitely the motion to purchase new ebooks, as mentioned in the HOSA event guidelines for our chapter, to ensure that we have the resources necessary to excel in HOSA competitions. Is there any discussion?
I move that we limit debate on this motion to one more speaker in favor and one more speaker against.
The question is on limiting debate of the main motion to postpone indefinitely consideration of the motion to one speaker in favor and one speaker against. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Debate on the motion to postpone indefinitely is limited to one speaker in favor and one speaker against.
I speak against the motion to postpone indefinitely consideration of the motion to purchase ebooks as mentioned in the HOSA guidelines, as the ebooks are easily accessible and postponement of consideration will prevent students from timely using the resources to study for HOSA competitions.
I rise to a point of order.
State your point of order.
Ms. Natarajan was not recognized by the chair before obtaining the floor.
The point of order is well taken.
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Natarajan.
I speak against the motion to postpone indefinitely consideration of the motion to purchase ebooks as mentioned in the HOSA guidelines, as the ebooks are easily accessible and postponement of consideration will prevent students from timely using their resources to study for HOSA competitions.
Thank you, Ms. Natarajan. Is there any further discussion?
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Ghosh.
I speak in favor of the motion to postpone indefinitely consideration of the motion to purchase ebooks as mentioned in the HOSA guidelines, as we do not have sufficient money to purchase these ebooks and will not have funds at any time in the near future.
Thank you, Ms. Ghosh. The question is on the motion of postponing the main motion indefinitely. All those in favor of postponing the main motion indefinitely say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
The nays have it. The motion to postpone indefinitely is lost. The discussion returns to the main motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, the question is on the motion that we purchase new ebooks as mentioned in the HOSA event guidelines for the West Bloomfield High School HOSA chapter to ensure that we have the resources necessary to excel in HOSA competitions. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion is agreed to. Ms. Natarajan, the Community Service Committee will handle the planning of purchasing the ebooks. If there is no business, we will have moved to announcements. Does anyone have announcements?
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Sandberg.
I would like to remind everyone that our next regular meeting will be January 12th, 2021 at 2 p.m. instead of Monday, January 11th.
Thank you. Are there any other announcements? If there are none, we need a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Hussein.
I move that the meeting be adjourned.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that this meeting is adjourned. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. The meeting is adjourned at 2:30 p.m. virtually.